Hello. So it is time for our live Q&A. It is Monday. What is today? November the 7th. And we have, I'm having major technical difficulties here. For some reason, my camera will not stay stable. I might have to hold it the whole time. That's okay. Okay, so I have several questions today. Thank you, Penny. I love your questions. It's so much easier when I know what you want to hear. So let's see. The first question I have today is, are you going to the Georgia Veg Fest? Have you ever been to one? Is it worth the trip to Duluth? I've never been. So I have been to some other festivals similar. A lot of times, I mean, it sounds fabulous, right? There probably are going to be some delicious foods and things, but it's going to be selling a lot of processed foods probably. So Veg Fest doesn't necessarily mean healthy. Veg Fest is definitely vegan, so it's supporting animals, sustainable agriculture, being vegan for ethical reasons, and things like that. So I am whole food plant-based. While I do eat a mostly vegan diet, I do eat honey. I also don't pay attention to things like leather and stuff like that. I mean, I probably do, but I don't. And so for me, Veg Fest would be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Probably great for the kids and things like that. But it's not something that I would go to, but it may be something that would be a lot of fun for you to go to. If I lived near there, then I'm sure I would go. I've thought about going to some. There have been some in South Carolina and Greenville. They usually have one. And I've thought about going to theirs. But I don't know, it's up to you. It might be something fun for you to do with your kids. So Lenny asked it somewhere else on my personal page, and I decided I wanted to carry this over because it's not a short, quick, easy answer. Explain potatoes to me. Some say they are bad. So some say they are bad. No. So what is true? So I do eat potatoes occasionally. I don't eat them every day. It depends on you, and that's a terrible way to answer, right? We don't want to hear that. We want to know yes or no, they're good or bad. So foods, I hate to say they're good or bad. Some of them, we know they're bad. They're class 1 carcinogens. I'm talking about hot dogs, processed red meats. Don't eat those. Those are poisonous. Heated oils. Yes, occasionally I do eat something with heated oils, chips. Very, very rarely do I eat those. Very rarely, like a couple of times a year, because I know those are not good for me. Potatoes, I grow potatoes. Potatoes, if you eat them, especially with the peel, they're organic. They do have lots of vitamins and minerals. However, they are very high in carbohydrates. However, they do have fiber. And so we have to look at things like the net carbs if you get that detailed into things. Now, don't eat a potato by itself. Don't eat a large baked potato as a meal. You want to incorporate the potatoes as part of something else if you're trying to lose weight and if you're trying to balance your blood sugar. If your blood sugar is under control, you have a healthy A1C. If you don't know what that is, ask me in the comments, and I'll clarify that. That is something that we talked about on other episodes. If your blood sugar is in control, then potatoes can be used occasionally. Some people can tolerate potatoes. They check their blood glucose after they eat potatoes for every 15 minutes for 2 hours. They don't see the large spikes. Potatoes are fine for them. Sometimes it's the way they are prepared. So if you bake a potato and then you put it in the refrigerator to chill it, and then you eat it, the blood sugar is not going to spike as much. And so that is a trick you can use. You can also make things like fermented mashed potatoes. The fermenting, well, it does make them kind of sour, but it also will eat the sugars. And so I've done that too. So I do love potatoes. I just don't eat them every day, and I don't make them a large part of the meal. As you saw in my dinner last night, I had them incorporated with other roasted vegetables with a large salad on the side. So I had a lot of fiber and a lot of other vitamins and minerals, healthy sources of fat with that meal. Okay, so hopefully that helped. Does kombu enhance taste or just add nutrition? So kombu will add some salty flavor, but I use it for nutrition. So kombu is sometimes called kelp. And it is a seaweed, which is very, very high in minerals. It also is mucilaginous, one of our favorite words, to help coat the intestinal lining. It's very good for GI health. Very high in minerals, very high in iodine, which is important for thyroid health. So next question, tell us about microgreens. Can we grow them ourselves? Do you grow your own? Why, yes, I do. We even sell them. So some of you locals, if you need some sunflower sprouts, I could probably hook you up. But what I will do is I do not grow them personally. I do not have a green thumb. My husband is the farmer, and he grows these for me. And so I will ask him to post in the comments to let you know exactly how to grow them yourself. I think that sometimes we even grow them in things like greens containers. So if you buy greens in those clamshells, you can clean them up, put some soil in, lay your seeds, light cover, dirt, I think, and then you keep them in the dark for a day or two. The lid will start to rise as they grow. And then when they get to, I'm trying to hold my phone, so let's see if I can do this one-handed. Dun, dun, dun. Here they are. They just, oh, that's wimpy because I had it sitting out waiting to talk to you. When they get those first leaves, then you cut them at the soil. So that's the difference between your sprouts and your microgreens. We cut them at the soil. They have the first leaf. And sometimes when we sell them or give them to people, they still have a little bit of the shell of the seed on there. But yes, grow your own. That is the best way to get them. You know how they were grown. You know that they were grown in a safe way. All right, I know you provide a service to analyze blood work, so I think you may already know the answer to this question. Are we able to order our own blood work using our insurance, or do we need a doctor's order? Why, yes, you can. You can go to the LabCorp page or Quest, whichever your insurance takes, and they have a list of options there. I have some other sources too, if that does not work for you. I don't know exactly what you are testing. But yes, I have done that myself. I have gone on to LabCorp and selected lab testing. I will tell you, it is even cheaper that way than going through the doctor. Vitamin D test at LabCorp, I want to say is $50. Check that. Somewhere I looked, it was $50. I just paid my insurance $241. That was with my insurance. And so yes, go to LabCorp to do that. So that is all the questions I see here. I wanted to talk about diet religions or diet dogma is something that I am actually studying. I'm gonna make sure there's no other questions. Something that I am studying in my classes. You know, I like to share everything with you, my followers. And so I wanted to just go over a few of them. So people are always asking me, what should I eat? And there's no quick answer for you. We're all unique. There is no one diet that fits all. If you look at the Eskimos who eat blubber, high fat carnivore diet, compare those to someone who lives near the equator, who eats high fruit. They're in a very high environment, very low meat. I mean, these are two totally different people. We're all unique. We all have different needs. And so I just wanted to talk about a few of them. So there's definitely the carnivore diet, there's a keto diet, the low carb diet, the paleo diet. The keto, there are elimination diets, there are low glycemic diets, plant-based diets. There's several different vegan diets. And so how do you know what to eat? And so like I say, you just have to really listen to your body and find what is going to work for you. So let's just talk about a few of them. If we look at plant-based diets, so I would say that I eat plant-based, mostly raw. Some people do raw till 4, some people do 100% raw. I do mostly raw because I like cooked beans and I like cooked grains. And so I do throw in some beans in my everyday salad sometimes. And I do include cooked meals in my dinner. Now, I will tell you, I feel much better, lighter when I eat all raw. But that's really hard, especially when the weather gets colder. I don't know if you can see my skin is kind of red next to my neck. I've been eating highly cooked foods lately, and my face is actually getting kind of inflamed. And so I don't know what it is that's causing it. It could be that I've been eating a lot of beans and quinoa. I'm eating quinoa tonight, actually, again. And so it all just depends on you and what is right for you. And that's really hard. But with the plant-based, you could be vegetarian. A lot of people are vegetarian, but they eat a mostly vegan diet, but they do eat eggs or dairy or cheese and things like that. There are people who eat 100% raw. There are people who eat 80-10-10. That's 80% carbohydrates, 10% fat, and 10% protein. That would be very difficult for me. But some people, it works for them. If I lived in like Hawaii or Okinawa or Costa Rica, maybe that would work for me. I don't know, but I like nuts and seeds. They add fat very quickly. And like I said, I like cooked foods. I like roots, vegetables. I like beans and things like that. So that does work for some people though. And then there is something called rainbow green. I love that because I think it's very important to eat the rainbow, all the different colors with the other things. So a lot of people who look at specific macros like the 80-10-10, that is very restrictive to me. Some people, like I said, eat the high carbohydrate diets. The 80-10-10 is Doug Graham's, Dr. Doug Graham. Dr. McDougall's diet is, they're starchitarians, I think, where they eat mostly rice and potatoes and high tubers and starches. For me, that would cause my blood sugar levels to go up or spike. And so that would not be the right diet for me, but that may work for you. So one thing that you may want to do if you want to eat foods like that is get a glucometer and check your blood glucose. So every 15 minutes, so you eat a meal, and every 15 minutes for at least 2 hours, check your blood glucose and see, does it go up? Does it go up and back down? Do you have spikes? Is it kind of a smooth roll and things like that? See how your body responds to the foods. And for me, I can tell, I get hangry. If I eat something very sweet and then nothing else, then in an hour or two, not only am I starving, I am like, I need food right now. And so that was not right for me, but some people, it does work for them. There's the fruitarian diet, people who only eat fruits. I do not think that is healthy for anyone. Some people say it works for them, but that is missing. A fruit is wonderful for you. Very high in antioxidants, very high in water and fiber, but you're missing a lot of minerals. So if you're a fruitarian, then I recommend that you definitely supplement with minerals and make sure you get regular blood work and things like that. So then there's low carb. Atkins was the old thing. Then South Beach. There's I don't know, they all kind of blend together, keto, paleo, and all those with the low carb. You can do paleo that isn't low carb too. The zone, that was really big several years ago. I remember Jennifer Aniston was talking about doing the zone, and that one is 40% carbs, 30% fat, and 30% protein. That's a lot of protein. That one does seem doable. That's fairly low carb. 30% fat is very easy, especially if you eat nuts and seeds. You just want to make sure you're not eating animal fats. And then there's the keto diet. So keto, if you have a history of heart disease, if you have a history of high cholesterol that runs in your family, if you're on statins, keto is not right for you unless you eat like a plant-based keto. The saturated fats are not right for your body if heart disease and high cholesterol are part of your history, your genetics. I do genetic testing too, examine genetic testing. So that is one thing. Now, some people do eat plant-based keto. That's where they eat lots and lots and lots of greens and nuts and seeds. And that's actually low carb as well. They don't go as low as keto. Sometimes keto is really low, like 50 grams a day. That would be impossible for me. Some people can do it. Some people can make it work for them, but you have to be very careful. If you're eating that low carb, then you're missing a lot of vitamins and minerals, especially antioxidants. And so you may be feeling really good right now. You may actually lose some weight right now, but that is probably going to catch up to you in a few years if you're not getting regular blood work and supplementing. But I don't recommend supplements here in Georgia. I am not licensed to recommend supplements. And so that is something you need to discuss with your doctor, which, going back, I did not talk about my disclaimer. All of the information I'm sharing with you today is for educational purposes only. I do not prescribe, I do not treat, I only educate. take all this information and do your own research on any of these, of course. So then there are also people who look at the FODMAP diet. That is, I can't remember all the different terms, but it's all different types of sugars. And so people eliminate these different foods that have these longer chain sugar molecules in them. And that can be helpful for people as they're healing their gut. It is not something that should be done long term, but it is something that you eliminate these specific foods as you have some gut healing, and then you start to incorporate those foods. Maybe you can't add back all of them, but you don't want to eliminate all of them long term because they do provide lots of vitamins and minerals and nutrients. There's a low oxalate diet. And so I'm really getting deep into that right now. I think that is something in my history and in my husband's history. And so I'm trying to learn more about that. So some people, they don't have a certain enzyme that helps you break down oxalates. That's not everybody. And so when we hear about oxalates, don't immediately think we all need to eliminate oxalates. And you don't want to eliminate them anyway, especially if you've been eating a high oxalate diet. If you cut them all out, then you're going to have what's called oxalate dumping and lots of symptoms. But there are some symptoms that are associated with oxalates, which are things like almonds, chia seeds, spinach, and things like that. So if that's something that's a concern of you, then just comment below or DM me and let me know, and I can help you see if any of these fit you. But any of these, like, I'm not going to cut out almonds all my life. I am going to work on ways to incorporate them so that I'm not eating high oxalates every day. I am just going to keep them balanced so I don't have problems with oxalates. There are people who eat low histamine diets, low sulfur diets, and then I like the alkaline diet. So if you are, well, all of you are on my newsletter. If you're watching this live, or in my Facebook group, you are definitely on my newsletter. So I had 2 articles that went out. No, I didn't have one this last week. There's not going to be one this Friday either, but I had 2 on the alkaline diet with the little alkaline chart too, that you could see, you know, why do I think it's important? It's important because we need all of those minerals. We need them processed correctly in our body, like the oxalates. If you don't handle oxalates, then they are grabbing other minerals, and they may be even grabbing minerals from your bones. And so that can create bone issues later on. And so it's important to eat an alkaline diet that's going to provide all the vitamins and the minerals that you need in a healthy way for you. So I don't remember where spinach was. I keep saying about spinach because it is one of the highest. So I don't remember where it is on the alkaline chart, but if I ate a high spinach diet, which could be very alkaline, it could still be high in oxalates. And so it's something that I would have to look at on the chart. So I'm getting off on a tangent there. Okay, so then there's gluten-free, there's soy-free. So I think anyone with a chronic condition, I think anyone on a chronic condition should go gluten-free and dairy-free. If you have autoimmune disease, you need no gluten, no dairy. Because they are so inflammatory for so many people. Now, this is me. I know Dr. Tom O'Brien. I'm going to say Dr. Nick Pelosi, and then there's a couple other doctors. Anyway, there's a lot of research out there showing those are highly inflammatory. And if you have autoimmune disease, those need to be eliminated, gluten and dairy. And gluten is in lots of different places. So does that mean you need to go buy gluten-free products, gluten-free muffins, gluten-free breads? No, those are highly processed foods. So switching from eating bread every day to gluten-free bread every day is not going to improve your health. That is going to cause blood sugar fluctuations because it's even more processed than the breads. And so you want to be careful with that. Low glycemic diets. So that is very important for anyone with blood sugar conditions. So if your A1C is elevated, then you definitely want to look at low glycemic diets or things that can help you with blood sugar control. If your blood sugar is not in balance, then other things are going to be out of balance too. It's not going to help us to work on your heart condition if we aren't controlling your blood sugar. That has to be controlled first. That is why I always harp on the processed foods. You have to balance your blood sugars first. So like I said, pricking your finger every 15 minutes may sound like a pain, but that's a cheap and easy thing you can do. Asking your doctor to run an A1C. That gives you your blood sugar over the last 3 months. And so you can see how well your body's been handling blood sugar for the last 3 months, or wearing a continuous glucose monitor, which you can order yourself, or you can ask your doctor to order one too, if your A1C is elevated. Some states, I think it's a lot easier to get than here in Georgia. And then there are some other diets. Body Ecology, Donna Gates has that one. That one's 80% alkaline, 20% acid forming foods. And so that kind of goes along with what my article had in the last 2 weeks. So that means 20% animal proteins for those of you who do like animal proteins, nuts, seeds, buckwheat, those are still considered acidic foods. Carrots, I want to say tomatoes, those were also on the acidic. So 80% of the alkaline, those are most of your vegetables, most of your fruits. I think plums, maybe peaches are on the acidic, but most of the fruits are alkaline. All of your greens are alkaline. Most of your seeds, maybe all of your seeds are alkaline. So focusing on those foods, and then 20% of the others. Lots of cruciferous vegetables and low glycemic type foods. So it really all comes down to you, but there are some things that are agreed upon across the board. So first of all, carnivore diet, 100% animal products may work for Eskimos, is not going to work for the rest of us. Their bodies have adapted to eating that way. We need plants. And so a plant strong diet, lots of plants, lots of greens, everybody, no matter what you're eating, lots of greens are good. Plants, nutrient dense. So lots of nutrients for what you're eating. Organic, buy organic whenever you can, grow your own. You have to have essential fats, and essential fats are in the sunflower microgreens, purslane. Those are good ways to get them in. Chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, cold water fish. Those are good ways to get in your essential fatty acids. You have to get those. And they need to be free of preservatives, additives, GMOs. Those are getting harder and harder to identify. And they need to be free of natural flavoring, artificial flavoring. If you read the ingredient list and it says natural flavors, that's usually MSG. If it says artificial flavors or coloring, no, do not add that to your body. If it says BHT, do not add that to your body. Artificial sweeteners, what was I going to say? Stevia extract. Remember, stevia is an herb. It is green. It should not be the white processed powder. But stevia extract, monk fruit, and erythritol do not cause the sugars to fluctuate, and they also are not absorbed. Erythritol is not absorbed into the body. It gives you a sweet flavor. I like to use licorice root to sweeten things. If you have high blood pressure, don't do that. Because it's just it's a root that I can get from the ground, and it sweetens my foods. And then fats. So heated fats, go back and watch my video on heated fats. Don't do it. Canola oil shortening, and vegan butter. I have a reel that's going out about vegan butter. A lot of people, when they switch from eating dairy, they go to the vegan butter. That is not a healthy option. That is heated oils. They have been whipped together. They're usually hydrogenated. That is going to increase your heart risk. It can actually be worse for you than eating butter. But don't go back to eating butter either. Find other ways to put something on your food, whatever you're using butter for. I haven't used it in years, not even the vegan butter. Some people will put different nut butters. You can get some butter, tahini, almond butter. You can use avocado, mashed avocado spread onto something. That is a good way to moisten your foods. But anyway, you can get away from using the vegan butter would be good. I'll even put anything in my mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, I'll add some broth and some salt, and we don't even miss it. So there are ways to eat it. And then sweeteners. So I do use honey. We actually have honey here. I am not vegan. I know a lot of people, I will get comments, especially on my YouTube and my Instagram, from people saying I shouldn't say that, but I do. We have our own beehives. Honey is very high in minerals. Maple syrup also has some minerals. These are added sweeteners. And so don't use a lot. Only use a little if you do use them. I'm not recommending them. I'm just saying that I do use them on occasion. Especially with the holidays coming up, I'm going to be making some things that do have a little bit of honey or maple syrup or molasses because they do have minerals. I do not use rice syrup or barley malt or coconut nectar or cane sugar, coconut sugar. I don't use any of those. Agave syrup, no, that one definitely causes blood sugar spikes. That is not what I would consider a healthy choice. So what I recommend is that you eat a large salad every day, everybody, either with your lunch or as your lunch or with your dinner. You have to get in some raw leafy greens some way. If you have digestive distress, if you have problems handling raw greens, then you need to work on healing your gut, right? Work on your gut health. If you don't, then you definitely need to be including some raw fruits and vegetables to get those natural enzymes to help you with digestion and to getting all of your body's processes working correctly. And gluten, I said, if you have a chronic disease, gluten is not your friend. It needs to go. Quinoa does not have gluten. Buckwheat does not have gluten. You want to make sure they say gluten-free on the products. Oats always have gluten unless they are certified gluten-free, and then it is iffy. And so like I buy direct from a farmer oat groats that I know are processed. I'll have to look up. I'll post the brand that I have for my oat groats because they do say that they are separated. So oats are normally carried in the same trucks as other grains. They're also processed on the same conveyor belts and things like that. So they always have gluten unless they are certified gluten-free or they are shipped, gathered, and collected completely separate from other grains. And so that is one of the things that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. I think I've mentioned that before. Anyway, it's very important if you have any health condition, number one, get your blood sugar balanced. You can check your blood sugar using a glucometer. Maybe you can even get the CGM, continuous glucose monitor. Those are awesome. I used one for 2 weeks and I ate different foods that I wouldn't normally eat. And now I want to do it again, eating foods the way I do normally eat, just to see how it does, just because it's just math. I like being my own experiment. I don't mind that. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. This was a little bit longer than I meant to go. Have a fabulous week. I will be traveling. And so next Monday, I may do this Q&A from the airport. That would be kind of fun. Anyway, have a good week.